Hello and welcome. You have tuned into Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. I'm Shrishti Sharma and with me is Cheryl D'Souza. And viewers, this is the show where you get answers for all your stock-related queries. In a short while from now, you will get a chance to connect with us live on a WhatsApp number that will be flashing on the top of your screen. But before that, let's have a look at what the markets are up to. So Cheryl, after the initial blip, once again, good recovery in both the benchmark indices.
Absolutely, Shrishti, a very good morning to you. Welcome back as well. And if you look at the markets, yes, a good recovery coming in for the benchmark indices from the day's lowest point. Ditto coming in for Nifty Bank, because remember Nifty Bank was the first one to dip into the negative territory, and from there on it is rebounded now near the day's highest point, or rather at the day's highest point. That's Nifty Bank for you. Ditto coming in for the benchmark indices, that is the Nifty as well as Sensex. Now Nifty has surpassed the 22,100 mark as well, so inching towards those record high levels once again. That is the Nifty index for you. Talking about the sector, the advanced decline ratio, for now it is tilted in the favor of the gainers. Yes, it's that bit of skewed right now in the favor of the gainers. But taking a look at the list of gainers, then you have Grasim that's ruling in the charts, 2.3% uptick for Grasim. You have Bajaj Auto, Adani Enterprises, Dr. Reddy's as well as Bajaj Finance among the top gainers. While in the losing front, you have L&T, which is down about 1%. You have SBI Life taking it easy, TCS, HDFC Life as well. Along with that, Wipro also is actually seeing a tad bit of shade of red at this point in time. So suffice to say that the realty index is among the top losers, sectoral loser. Also, you have the realty index and IT index, I beg your pardon, both of them are among the top sectoral losers. While on the flip side, you have the PSU sector holding on to good gains, you have FMCG sector holding on to good gains, and you have the broader markets outperforming the benchmark indices once again. So that's the way how the markets are looking like at this point in time, Shrishti. But a lot of stocks moving on news-based information, isn't it?
Well, yes, Cheryl, and one such stock that has been in the news in the recent past is Paytm. And in line with what your channel reported on February 13, Paytm has got a helping hand from Axis Bank. The fintech company has announced a partnership with Axis Bank to shift nodal accounts from Paytm Payments Bank. So what happens to Paytm now, and what is the road ahead after RBI's extension of the deadline on Paytm's bank? Let's get in more details from Ankur Mishra. Ankur, take it away.
Yes, exactly in line what we reported last week. The lender has got a reprieve from Axis Bank, and now there is a partnership which has been announced by Axis Bank with Paytm, and with that, Axis Bank will be the nodal bank for Paytm, which means that wherever merchants were using Paytm Payments Bank as lender, that will be shifted to Axis Bank. We also understand that there are other lenders where Paytm is still in discussion, and there may be some announcements which is likely this week. Apart from that, if you understand that Reserve Bank of India has already given an extension to the deadline on restrictions on Paytm Payments Bank from February 29 to 15th of March. Now, what does this mean? Especially for FASTag accounts where there were a lot of questions, we understand that Reserve Bank of India has already advised that there should be shifting of accounts from Paytm Payments to some other lender. Apart from that, there cannot be any recharge to the wallet of FASTag. However, whatever may be the balance, that can be utilized by the customer. Another question which often comes is about Paytm wallet. What happens there? Now here also the Reserve Bank of India has allowed that whatever may be the balance, that can be utilized by the customer, but there cannot be any top up to the wallet. But there is one respite which has been given by the regulator on all those customers where there is any kind of cashback which is supposed to come after the deadline of 15th of March. That has been allowed by the regulator. Those cashbacks can come in Paytm wallets.
All right, thank you so much for that, Ankur, for putting all of that in perspective. That is Paytm for you. Today, that stock is locked in the upper circuit of about 5%. And as you can see on the top of the screen, we are just 22 odd points away from those record high levels. But there's another stock or another two counters that are in focus. One of them is among the top gainers on the Nifty as well. And that's Dr. Reddy's for you. That is in focus. But apart from that, you have Novartis India also that is firing away in trade today. And Shrishti, tell us what exactly is leading to such a up move for both of these counters, Dr. Reddy's as well as Novartis. I believe there were news flows over the weekend, isn't it?
Well, yes, the last week itself, Novartis India was in focus after the Novartis parent company has announced that they're going to be a strategic review of Novartis India Limited, where currently they hold over 70% stake in Novartis India subsidiary, and they might look to part this out. And along with that, though they do say that there is no assurance for a strategic review of Novartis India that this will be completed in 2024, but yes, that's on the block that has come from the parent of Novartis India company. If we talk about then the media reports, then they do suggest that Dr. Reddy's could be one such company that could be in foray to get a substantial stake in Novartis India. Why so? Because in the past as well, they have the collaboration with Novartis India where they are handling the distribution for some of their drugs in India business. And what media reports were suggesting that Dr. Reddy's could be in the foray to expand its India portfolio. They're going to be looking at Novartis India to acquire more of its business. But Dr. Reddy's has come out with a clarification that as of now, they don't have anything to disclose to SEBI or the stock exchanges, and they would not like to comment on market speculation. But Nomura has come out with a note where they do say that there is a strong possibility that Dr. Reddy's could be pursuing Novartis India. Dr. Reddy's is well placed to acquire the portfolio. This will make a strategic sense as well. But though the valuation are still looking a bit high and the drugs are also low margin product, but the value accretion could be driven by the cost reduction. And if at all they go ahead to acquire the portfolio of Novartis India as of now, then neurology and oncology could be some such spaces that could be added in Dr. Reddy's portfolio. So on the back of these reports as well as brokerage owned of Nomura, Dr. Reddy's and Novartis India, they both are in focus, Cheryl.
Thank you so much, Shrishti, for putting all of that into context for us to tell us why both of these counters are in a focus. But on that note, we will be slipping into a break on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. But before we slip into a break, let me introduce our guest for today. We have Aditya Agarwala, who will be joining us on the technicals today. And joining us for the first time on the show is Lancelot D'Cunha, who will be taking all of your fundamental queries. So hang in there, experts. We will come back after the short break. Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now, a show where we get you answers for all of your stock-related query. Remember, viewers, you can connect to us on our WhatsApp number. You need to write your name. Also mention the stock that you're looking to invest in. If you've already invested in the stock, do remember, mention the buy price, the quantity, as well as time horizon. In that way, our experts will be able to help you better. And talking about our experts today, we have Aditya Agarwala joining us on the show on the technical side, while on the fundamental queries will be taken by Lancelot D'Cunha, who is the Chief Investment Officer at ValueX Wealth Connect. Thank you so much once again, Aditya, as well as Lancelot, for joining us on the show. And Lancelot, I believe this is the first time that you're joining us on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. So let me kickstart the queries with you then today. And we have a query coming in from Satya. He has Biocon at a price of around 280 rupees per share. And along with Biocon, he also has RCF about 270 rupees per share. That's the buy price. So he wants to know, with the both of them, is there any opportunity to exit either of it and go ahead and invest that money in this, the other counter, or no? Actually, I'm sorry, I'll have to interrupt there because we've hit record high levels actually on the Nifty right now. So let's just address the benchmark. We've surpassed the previous record high of 22,126 odd levels, and now we are actually at 22,130. That's a fresh record high levels coming in for the benchmark indices. Slow and steady move coming in, but there you go. We have conquered a new high when it comes to the Nifty index, as you can see it on your screen, at the day's highest point, at a new lifetime high. That is the Nifty index for you. But let me get back then and ask you the query once again. Actually, Lancelot, this one is from Satya. Biocon, the buy price is 280. Also, he has RCF. The buy price for that is 270. He wants to know, should he exit either one of them and invest that money in either of them? So should he exit Biocon and put that money in RCF, or stay put with both of these counters based on fundamentals?
I think based on fundamentals, Biocon will take a longer period of time to grow its business because it has recently divested its biologics business, and while it has to produce new molecules, and that domestic business will pick up over a period of time. At this point of time, I think the stock seems to be fairly valued. It trades about 28 times earnings. which is fair compared to its 5-year average. So one could look at booking profits in Biocon. As far as RCF is concerned, the stock has moved up a lot given the focus of the government on public sector undertakings and the profitability of public sector undertakings. But if you look at it from a valuation perspective, it is expensive because at the end of the day, it is a commodity driven business and cannot trade at such high multiples compared to other businesses. So one would I would say both are expensive, and one can look at moving out of both and look at some of the stocks that are fundamentally sound and available at lower valuations that may give you good options for an investment on the upside.
All right, so that's the take coming in on RCF as well as Biocon. Lancelot suggests to book out profits at this point in time. But Aditya, coming to you for the next query. This one is on Texrail. Naman is holding 1,500 shares from a price of 208 rupees. What's the take on this one? Should he continue holding this on? And he can stay invested for the next 6 months. So any targets to look out for?
Hi, Srishti. Good morning. Thanks for having the show. Good morning, Cheryl, as well. I believe all the railway stocks, Srishti, have run up significantly. And if you take a look at the recent move of most of the railway stocks, there has been a bit of a pullback in most of the railway stocks. And Texmaco Rail is also one which has seen a decent pullback in the recent times. I believe the heydays for railway stocks, maybe if you say every day you get the open markets open and they go up, are over for some time. The stock will get into consolidation phase. On the downside, 170 is an immediate support level. On the upside, 200 to about 210, which is around his buying price, is the immediate hurdle for the stock. So I don't see any upside immediately in the stock. It would go through a consolidation phase, and then maybe the stock can see an upside from here on. If he wants to hold on to it for 6 months, I would strongly recommend hold with the stop loss of 170 on the downside and wait for the stock to cross levels of 208 to about 210, which is the immediate hurdle. Once it does that, then maybe stock can scale back to levels of 230 to about 250 on the upside. Immediately, I don't see any upside in the stock.
All right. This one is coming from Sayak. He's writing to us from Bangalore. This one is for you, Lancelot. He wants to know about defense counters. Given the fact that we've seen government push for defense names or for the defense sector as a whole, we also had the DAC the other day, clear projects also. He wants to know whether now it makes sense to go ahead and buy some of these defense counters, given the fact that most of them have actually seen some sort of a correction from those elevated levels. So does it make sense now to look at them for a period of 2 to 3 years?
So because, the defense industry is under a major growth trajectory for the next 3 to 5 years, given the government's focus on manufacturing defense in India, as well as many of the companies in the space have capabilities in terms of supplying to overseas countries, and that would also boost their sales and revenues, as well as profitability. So it is in a structural growth scenario, and hence you should see making some investment is good. The question is that many of these defense stocks had rallied considerably. And now that there is some correction, one needs to look at some of the companies which have sustainable edge and the valuations have come off. So, companies more like maybe Bharat Electronics are companies where valuations have come down, and you can look at adding because the long-term sustainable edge that the company has will ensure that it gets a larger share from Government of India spending, and that should be bode well for its profitability going forward as well.
All right, moving on, and Lancelot, once again coming to you. This query is from Venkatesh, and he's confused between a couple of counters where he can go ahead and invest for the long term. He has names like Alkaline Amines, Clean Sciences, Som Distilleries, as well as Deepak Nitrite. Any of the stocks that you like for a long-term investment?
So I think, these are basically the chemical related chemical and fine chemical industry, which has seen a significant move from the policy that most of the global companies have been adopting, which is China plus one. So they have made India as an alternative supplier to most of the Chinese companies. And these companies have seen, benefits from this kind of a shift. However, having said that, many of the companies are seeing weaker prices in the short term. And a lot of these expansion projects will take place, only after, 12 to 15 months. So there could be a period when there is price correction based on the valuations or based on the short-term earnings outlook that you may see over the next 1 or 2 quarters. But that should be an opportunity to accumulate. So Deepak Nitrite is a company which is in the space attractively priced, and one can look at accumulating these on declines. So similarly, alkyl amines and even maybe an SRF can be looked at on a decline, because over the next 3 to 5 years, one should see good growth from this space.
This one is coming for you, Aditya. This one is from V. Murali. He's writing to us from Bangalore. He wants to know about Repco Home Finance. Should he look at buying this particular counter for a period of 12 months? He's definitely saying the fact that the earnings were good for Repco Home Finance. Keeping that in mind, should he look to invest in this one for the next 12 months, or instead look at Can Fin Home or maybe a PNB Housing?
Shall I believe all the three stocks that we are talking about are looking very strong on the charts. First, if we talk about Can Fin Home, definitely that also looks very strong on the chart. In fact, it's broken up from a long consolidation phase. I believe stock can test levels of 650 to about 700 in the near term. And given the fact that it's just trading at 470 right now, offers an excellent risk to reward ratio. Talking about Can Fin Home, that can test levels of 860 to about 900. That is something which has already seen a decent upside. Repco Home is yet to participate. So I believe between Can Fin Home and Repco, I will stick to Repco Home Finance, and PNB Housing Finance has already shown a decent up move. So amongst the three, maybe Repco Home Finance, which he is also eyeing at, looks like a best bet at the current levels.
All right, moving on. And Lancelot, what's your take on Tata Elxsi? Ram is holding 15 shares from a price of 8,100 rupees. There's always a discussion that this is a stock which is whose valuation is quite high. What's your take on this one, and what will be your advice for Ram? He can still hold this for the next 1 year.
Well, I think one should continue to hold Tata Elxsi, because if you look at the business model, there is sufficient, traction in terms of new projects. And unlike the IT services companies, they are in the business of making projects or building software for other on a contract basis. So as long as there is a flow of activity in this sphere, you will see continued growth and high profitability. So while the valuations look a little expensive, over the longer term, because of the significant growth that you can see in the company's business, one should look at maybe accumulating it on decline, but definitely hold on for a year or two on this stock.
All right, this one is coming in for you, Aditya, from Nitya, and she wants to know about Polycab for a period of 3 to 6 months. She was already holding about 75 odd shares at a price of 4,150 rupees per share. This particular counter was in news in the month of January, and you saw a sharp correction also take place in the particular counter. There you go on the charts also, it's pretty much visible. What should she do now? Because she is making profits on her holding.
Sure, it's a strong recommendation to trail stop losses, because this is again a news-based movement that we are seeing in the stock. On the upside, definitely there's a gap area between 4,900 to about 4,000 odd levels where she's actually bought. So maybe she can look at an immediate target of 4,900 to about 5,000 on the upside, with a trading stop loss closer to about 4,600. That would still be much above her buying price. So maybe 150 point downside from here, and look for at least 250, 300 points upside from current levels. And once it sustains above 5,000 levels, that is when I would suggest to hold on to the stock, because there can be a case where the stock covers up the gap area and then again starts to correct.
All right, Aditya, once again coming to you, what's your take on Sunteck Realty? Alok from Delhi is holding 650 shares from a price of, he's holding the shares from a price of 460, I beg your pardon, at 650 rupees, I believe, and he's highlighting that the current market price is quite lower than those levels. What's your take on the technical front for Sunteck Realty?
Srishti, I believe stock has been into a very large consolidation phase from 2018 onwards, and time and again, what I see from the chart, 530, 540 happens to be an immediate resistance for the stock, and I somehow don't see these levels of 600 plus on the stock on the charts as well. He can continue to hold is what I would recommend at current levels. So maybe with a stop loss at 430, 440 on the downside, and look for a target of at least 550 on the upside. That is what I'm getting at current chart structure. If it crosses 560, 550 levels and sustains above that, then maybe there's a case for a move towards 600 odd levels. But it's not a bad looking chart structure. It's a long consolidation that I'm seeing, and most of the real estate stocks are seeing a good bump up and rally in the stock prices. So I would suggest he can continue to hold on to the stock.
All right, so that's the take coming in on Suntec Realty. On that note, we'll slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. When we come back, we'll continue taking your query, viewers, so don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to Buy Now Sell Now, show where we get you answers for all your stock related queries. And continuing the same, the next query that I have is coming from Yuvraj. And Lancelot, what's your take on Cyient DLM, one of the recent listing, not much time on the stock exchanges for this counter? Is this a good stock to hold in one's portfolio?
So I think, since it has got listed recently, one should, look at the valuations. And, I think these may have some further, downside to go in terms of valuations, because valuations have been a little expensive, considering that they are this is a relatively smaller cap company. One should wait for a while, and when the valuation become reasonable, then one can look at buying into it.
Coming back to you once again, Lancelot, this one is coming from Tushar. He wants to know about IRB Infra as well as Bank of Maharashtra. Are they good investments for the long term at current market price? And the reason why he's asking this is one, because given the fact that we are seeing infra push as of now, so do you think it makes sense to look at IRB Infra in that light? And given the fact that the banks' balance sheets have now cleaned up, does it make sense to look at a Bank of Maharashtra then?
IRB Infra is concerned, while the infrastructure, sector is seeing a lot of push from the government, IRB Infra has a lot to do with its past investment in assets that it already owns, and its ratios in terms of the returns on its capital employed are fairly low. So considering that, it's always better to look for an infrastructure company which is like somebody like an L&T, where they have the capacity to generate large infrastructure projects at low price points, because their ability to leverage their balance sheet is much better than somebody like an IRB Infra. So I would say that it's better to stay away from what looks to be valuable this thing, but stay with look at infra companies which are let's say leaders in the space, because they will obviously get a much larger share of the infrastructure growth. As far as Bank of Maharashtra is concerned, there are it has cleaned up its balance sheet, but from a banking perspective, it's very important that the bank has adequate capital to grow its business, and the cost of funds comes down for the bank. Now, with a company like Bank of Maharashtra competing with other larger banks, the cost of funds will always be higher. So banking being a factor of the capital that the bank has, as well as the net interest margin, there are better banks available in the marketplace which have been valued at much lower valuations. For example, even HDFC Bank had come down significantly from the highs, and you will see good growth coming in HDFC Bank. So one should stick to something like an HDFC Bank as compared to maybe a Bank of Maharashtra.
All right, that's the take on the banking names. But the next query that I have, Aditya, is for you, and this one is on APL Apollo Tubes. Sanil, I guess he's writing to us for the first time, has bought 1,000 shares at an average price of 1,500 rupees. Currently at a loss in this one, but he can continue holding it for the next 6 months. So what will be your advice?
I would strongly recommend to continue to hold on to the stock with a stop loss closer to about 1,300. That happens to be a very strong support area, Srishti. And from there, stock has actually bounced back. The only thing is the stock is yet to get into an upward trajectory. It's going through a consolidation phase. The 200 DMA will act as an immediate resistance, which is again closer to about 1,500, maybe its buying price closer to about. And once it crosses 1,500, then the stock can see a decent up move closer to about 17 to about 1,800 on the upside. So if he has a longer time horizon, maybe beyond 6 months, if he can stretch, he should continue to hold with a stop loss at 1,300 and look for a target of at least 1,700 to about 1,800. It will take some time, but I believe stock will reach there eventually.
Coming from Anjana, and Anjana has invested in HDFC Life, about 200 shares of HDFC Life. Aditya, she's purchased it at the levels of around 621 rupees per share. She wants to know whether she should absorb the losses and invest in better performing companies. What sort of strategy should she use when it comes to HDFC Life, given that, yes, she is making losses? 621 is the buy price.
I believe Cheryl, she should continue to hold because this entire space is looking very interesting. The HDFC Life is the only one which is actually not performing as compared to its peers, but I believe it has formed an intermediate base close to about 570, 600 is the support area for the 575 to about 580 is the support area for the stock. And on the upside, stock can actually test levels of 620, which is a buying price. And once that is taken off, stock can actually test levels of 660 as well. If she's okay booking out losses from HDFC Life, the two alternatives from the life insurance space I would recommend are SBI Life and ICICI Pru. Both again are looking very strong on the charts and can see decent upside. But having said that, I still believe she can continue to hold on to HDFC Life because this entire space is looking very interesting, and I believe it's money making opportunity in the coming times in this space.
Right, moving on, and Lancelot, the next query is from Srinivasan, and he has a query on two counters, both starting with the alphabet N, NMDC as well as NALCO. Both have seen a good run up in the recent past, but do you still believe that Srinivasan can enter for a long term at these price points as well?
I think they are both very expensive stocks and have seen a good rise. But when you look at the fundamental valuations, one should look at buying into businesses that offer a good risk to reward ratio. And I think you don't have much of a margin of safety on both these stocks. So there could be 1 or 2 quarters where the financial performance may not be good, and you could see sharp corrections in both these stocks on that basis. So it's better to stay out, rather than try to ride the boom, because over a period of time, you'll make money if you're able to buy these stocks at low valuations.
All right, this one is coming in from Vijay, and Vijay has Polyplex in his portfolio, 200 shares of Polyplex at the levels of around 1,650 rupees per share. He wants to know, Aditya, whether he can look to average this counter right now, any scope of a recovery from here on. He is mentioning that he is a long-term investor, but wants to know whether he should average out right now and hold this stock for the longer term, way below his buy price, almost halved.
Cheryl, one strong advice to all our viewers not to average a stock which is actually heading down and hitting a fresh 52-week high. Because if you average a downward trending stock, your buy price keeps on rising, whereas your current market price is still way below your average buying price. So I would strongly urge not to average the stock because clearly the trend is downward. I am not tracking the fundamentals, but looking at the chart structure, I'm sure the fundamentals have also weakened significantly for the stock. The immediate support that I see for the stock is at 670, which is significantly lower from current level, Cheryl. So if anything, I would recommend to exit from the stock on any bounce back close to about 1,000 odd levels or maybe 1,050, because it's at oversold levels. He can see a bit of a bounce back close to about 1,000, 1,050. That should be an ideal place to exit from the stock and look for a stock which is trending upwards rather than trending downwards.
Right. Once again, coming to you, Aditya, this one is coming from Sudhir from Kochi, and he wants a short-term view on UPL. The stock is seeing a rebound, but is this a good entry point to enter into UPL, or he should wait for some more correction to enter into? What will be your advice?
So, Srishti, I believe there is a bit of a recovery for sure, and that recovery again will be short-lived, maybe close to about 530, 532 is what I'm looking at. Above 508, 510 levels, he can actually look to enter the stock for a very short-term trading with a target price of 530 to about 540 on the upside, and maybe place a stop loss close to about 490. So with a 10 rupee, 12 rupee risk, he can look to enter above 500, 506 for a target of 530 to about 540, and don't stay invested for too long in this stock because the trajectory again is downward rather than upward.
Right, coming to you, Lancelot, this one is coming in from Jaya Devappa. He's writing to us from Bangalore. Tarsen Products wants to know whether it makes sense to enter this particular counter for long-term investment. He's not mentioned whether he should get in at current market price or no, but for the long term, based on fundamentals, for a period of 3 years or so, Tarsen Products is a good company?
Well, you can hold it for a long term, but the question is that the returns from here will be relatively muted because the stock has already moved up significantly in the short term. So while the fundamental business proposition is still good, the returns can be muted from these levels. So I would suggest that you look for maybe alternatives which give you better returns since the valuations can be low and the business outlook is good. So Tarzan will have good prospects, but the valuations are expensive.
Valuations look expensive, but Lancelot, what's your take on Bank of Baroda? All these banking names are doing pretty well today as well. And Rima is holding Bank of Baroda shares since quite a time now, and she's already had a 40% profit in this one. Is this a good time to book out profits or continue to hold on?
So I think one should continue to hold on because, over the next 12 months to 24 months, you are going to see interest rates, ease up a bit. And that should bring cost of funds down for the public sector banks and Bank of Baroda especially. The Bank of Baroda will also benefit from the lower yields that come because they will have, some treasury gains there. That should help in terms of growing their profitability. So all in all, if you look at holding on for Bank of Baroda for a year or two, one should see the impact of the positive business environment for public sector banks actually playing in, and that profit should translate in better valuation. So one can hold on on this stock for a while.
This one is coming for you, Aditya. This one is from Sridhar writing to us from Coimbatore. Ratan India is the counter, I believe. He's purchased about 2,150 shares at a price of 88 rupees per share. He is a positional trader. He wants to know at what level and at what period can he look to book profits in Ratan India. 88 is the buy price.
For the stock has already tested that level once again in the recent times, and from there stock has seen a bit of a correction, so it has turned volatile after that. So I would recommend, until unless stock crosses 96, my target is capped at 96 odd levels, and look to book out profits closer to about 96 odd levels, or maybe look at the way the stock behaves around 96 odd levels. If it doesn't cross that for a day or two, then you can actually look to exit the stock at close to about 96, and again look for better alternatives. But at current levels, you can continue to hold and exit closer to about 96.
All right, so that's the take coming in on Ratan India Enterprise. But with this, viewers, it's time to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to take more of your stock-related queries, so stay tuned.
अब उत्तर प्रदेश इस लग्न नहीं नंबर 2 की अर्थव्यवस्था देश के अंदर है, और जिस तेजी के साथ आगे बढ़ रहा है, अगले 5 वर्ष हमारे लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण होने जा रहे हैं, जिसमें हमें देश की अग्रणी अर्थव्यवस्था के रूप में उत्तर प्रदेश को स्थापित करना है।
उत्तर प्रदेश में डबल इंजन की सरकार ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस से निवेशकों और कारोबारियों के लिए कर रही है व्यापार अनुकूल माहौल तैयार।
जिंदगी की हर छोटी बड़ी जरूरत के लिए आप जो सपने सजाते हैं, बस उसी उम्मीद को तो हम सहारा लगाते हैं। SIP आपकी सेविंग्स को आपकी खातिर काम पर लगाएगी। आज ही अपनी पहली SIP की शुरुआत करें। अधिक जानकारी के लिए अपने वित्तीय सलाहकार से परामर्श करें। LIC म्यूचुअल फंड द्वारा निवेशक शिक्षा की एक पहल।
म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार के जोखिम के अधीन है। योजना से संबंधित सभी दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
New Hawkins ceramic non-stick pressure cooker. Less oil, tasty and healthy. First time in India. Hawkins ceramic non-stick.
A new design every 4 days to inspire you. Royal Touch. Luxury laminates, plywood, wooden floors. Stay curious.
Sir, is there a wedding? No. So, what is all the celebration for? Tuesday. Mangalwar.
Those who are financially secure enjoy a happier life. So keep growing your happiness. Keep investing. Bandhan Mutual Fund. बढ़ते रहो. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
इंश्योरेंस कोई ROI नहीं है। MF ईयर चेक कर, हाई होगा। क्या है?
आप बीपी चेक कीजिए, हाई होगा। हाई बीपी से CKD हो सकता है और उसके ट्रीटमेंट से आपका टोटल लाइफ सेविंग्स खत्म। SHI ले लो।
SHI
स्टार हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस। अपनी सेविंग्स को बचाइए स्टार हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस के साथ। द हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस स्पेशलिस्ट।
आपका बैंक सेविंग्स अकाउंट पे इंटरेस्ट देता है
3 महीने में एक बार।
मेरा AU हर महीने। सोच बदलो और बैंक भी। AU स्मॉल फाइनेंस बैंक। बदलाव हमसे है।
शीर्षासन कहते हैं इसे।
पापा स्ट्रेस कम कर रहे हैं। घर नहीं बिक रहा ना।
बाहर से नहीं मिल रहा।
घर बेचना है तो मैजिक ब्रिक्स पे आइए। यहाँ पे हजारों सेलर्स रोज मिलते हैं लाखों बायर्स से,
ताकि प्रॉपर्टी जल्दी बिके और बेटर प्राइस मिले।
अब आप सीधे हो जाइए।
You know, people often ask me why I left my steady job. I wanted more out of life. So I launched my own startup. You wanted, we've got it. Great products, zero investment, leading organization, and unlimited opportunities. Now think big. Become an LIC agent.
Visit our website or contact your nearest LIC branch.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. This one is coming in from Devadas. He's writing to us from Chennai and he wants to know if there's any view on United Spirits, Lancelot. He wants to know whether it's a good time to enter for a period of 2 to 3 years perspective, given the fact that we are seeing a lifestyle change. These counters are also benefiting out of that. So if you look at United Spirits, it's surpassed the 1,000 mark. Now it's at 1,135. At these elevated levels, do you think it's advisable to invest for the longer term?
So definitely, if you're looking at a 2 to 3 year horizon, United Spirits will see good growth going forward. And being a major leader in this space, they're able to dominate the space in terms of being able to protect their market share, maintain their margins. So one would see good growth going forward as well. And if you look at it from a fundamental basis, yes, the price has risen a lot. So the returns may be a little lower than what you can expect, but definitely one can see growth going forward in the stock.
Right, moving on, and the next query that I have, Aditya, is from Vidya. She's a short-term trader and wants to know about TechM as well as Tata Chemicals. Any of the stocks that you like for a fresh entry with a short-term investment horizon?
We'll talk of TechM first, Srishti. Honestly, no, because there are better opportunities in the tech space as compared to TechM. So I would avoid getting into TechM at current levels. Doesn't offer a good risk to reward and for a excellent trade opportunity. As far as Tata Chemical is concerned, yes, that is something which is seeing a bit of a bounce back from the support levels of about 930. And I believe stock has some more upside left in it. So maybe 1,040, 1,050 is what she can look at. And put a stop loss close to about 960 and go along on the stock. Apart from that, if she needs anything from the tech space, maybe she can look at an Infosys or an HCL Technologies. Both offer a better risk to reward ratio.
Right, with that, we have to kickstart with the rapid fire. And since Lancelot is appearing on the show for the first time, Lancelot, this is the segment where we try and take as many queries possible under with a time frame of about 2 minutes or so. You need to keep your answer really crisp, maybe one word or so. So let's kickstart with the rapid fire then. And this one is coming in from Sundar Ramanan. He wants to know about HDFC Bank. Can he accumulate right now for the longer term? Aditya?
Oh, yes, definitely. Cheryl, I believe these are very good times to accumulate. Look for a target of 1,600 to about 1,700. Keep on accumulating at current levels until 1,350 on the downside.
Lancelot, Debashish wants to know, is this still a good time to enter into REC and PFC given the high valuations at this point?
Given the high valuations, I would suggest that it's not a good time. Wait for some correction and then one can look at accumulating the stocks.
All right, what's the outlook on HFCL? Aditya, we have a viewer, Srinivasan, who's holding 1,000 shares at a price of 94 rupees per share. Stay put with this or exit?
Oh, definitely stay put. Just a disclaimer that this is something that we also recommended to our clients for a target of 120, 140. So stay put with the stop loss at 90 rupees.
Okay, Aditya, what's your advice on Subex? Usha is holding 1,000 shares from a price of 42 rupees. Any targets to expect in the next 3 months?
Wherever she is bought, Srishti, that is actually the target price. 45 is the immediate target. On the downside, she can place a stop loss close to about 37 and continue to hold. Once it crosses 45, then maybe she can look for a target of 50 rupees on the upside.
Okay, giving a breather to Aditya then. Lancelot, coming to you. Praj Industries is the counter. Giridhar has 100 shares. Not given the buy price. What's your recommendation on Praj?
I think one should continue to hold if you've already invested in Praj because the long-term outlook is good. So continue to hold.
All right, Aditya, what's your take on Union Bank? Sunny is holding 300 shares from a price of 145 rupees.
Hold immediate downside, maybe consolidation, I would say, is there between 135 to about 155 on the upside. Once the stock crosses 155, you can see levels of 165 to 170 as well.
All right, Alok is asking about EIH. He has about shares that he's purchased at 250 rupees per share. Lancelot, he bought this a while back. The stock has reacted well post his earnings. What should be his take now?
you should continue to hold the stock, and maybe if it declines, you can always accumulate further.
All right, but with this, it's time's up on the rapid fire session as well as on the Buy Now Sell Now show. Thank you so much, Lancelot, as well as Aditya, for joining us today and helping all our viewers resolve their stock-related queries. But with this, viewers, it's time's up, as well as a goodbye from me and Cheryl and the entire team who put this show together. Thanks so much for watching, but don't go anywhere. Markets at noon will take the action ahead.